Hi, I'm Kate, and I'm the online learning librarian at Loyola Notre Dame Library. Today, we'll be talking about using research databases. Loyola Notre Dame Library subscribes to a wide range of subject-specific academic databases that can help you find targeted information and sources for your work. In this video, we're going to focus on a database titled ERIC. ERIC stands for the Education Resources Information Center, which is a resource from the U.S. Department of Education. We access it through a library database. You can search their public website, but it's much easier to search for and refine results in the library database version. Plus, the database offers much more full-text access because a lot of the content, particularly journal articles, are available subscription only. The database contains things such as journal articles, book chapters, dissertations, and conference proceedings and presentations, and also a special category of gray literature called ERIC documents. These are research papers, notes, and articles generated by members of the ERIC staff or other members of the government. In general, keep in mind when you're searching any of our databases, you're mostly going to start with a broad search and then narrow it down using a variety of tools. So let's get into this. You're going to start on the library homepage at lndl.org. From here, we're going to go to hover our mouse over search on the teal bar right here, and then we're going to scroll down to databases and click. This takes you to an alphabetical list called the A to Z list of databases that lists out every single database to which we subscribe. And we realize this can be a little overwhelming. There are a lot of possibilities to search, and it may not always be clear what you need. So there are two methods to get to this database. The first is if you know the title already, like we do, ERIC, you can click on the first letter of the title of the database. However, if you don't know exactly which database you want, and you want to see what we have available in your subject area, you can come right up here to this drop-down menu where it says Subjects. I'm going to drop that menu down, and I'm going to scroll all the way down to Education, and then I'm going to click the blue search button to the right. This narrows the list down to just those databases that the library staff have found are most relevant to the field of education. At the top, you'll see some of our best bets, which are our favorite or most heavily used or most relevant databases. And you'll notice that ERIC is right at the top. So I'm going to click on that link and then click the blue button to access the database. And we're going to let that load. Some days it's a little slower than others, often depending on the weather or how many people are in the library. So this is what our database interface looks like. I'm going to be working today with a research question about attrition rates among public school teachers. So first, I need to determine what the best keywords are in order to build an effective search. In this case, the most important concepts in my research are attrition, teachers, and public schools. So I'm going to paste in a pre-created search, attrition and teachers and public schools. Notice that I have quotation marks around public schools. This is to signal the search engine that I want to keep those words together as a phrase and not look for them as separate words. I don't want every article in the database that has the word schools in it. That would be way too big, and I'm looking for a specific type of school. I'm also using the word and to connect my concepts together. So what this is telling the database to do is to please find me all of the items with the word attrition in it, find all of the items with the word teachers in it, and all of the items with the phrase public schools in them, and then combine those all together and only show me the results that have all three. So now that I have a good search, And I can actually break this out and put one concept in each box if that helps you track a little more easily. But once I'm done putting together the search, I'll click the search button. And let's see what we get in ERIC. My very first result looks promising. It's titled Examining the Relationships Between Positive Psychology and Teacher Burnout in Secondary Education. And that could be very relevant to my research. However, right above this item is an identification that tells us what kind of source it is. And in this case, this source is a dissertation. Most professors don't want you to cite dissertations in your work, but they are a really good way to find sources to add to your own research. So to make this process just a little bit easier, we're going to use something called limiters. And limiters are tools that let us filter for different categories. So I have some okay results, but I think I could get better results if I get a little more specific. So I'm going to go to this menu immediately below the search box, and the first thing I'm going to click is peer reviewed. I want to make sure that I'm looking for scholarly peer reviewed articles. I'm also going to click full text because right now with my search the way it is, I may get citations that are for articles that I don't have access to. And I'm also going to come right here to this button that says all time. Often you will find that your professors want you to limit your search to the last 5 or 10 years so that you're getting the most current research in your field. So I'm going to choose the past 10 years. You'll notice it keeps just repopulating that search for me. And now I have a pretty good, pretty specific source type in here. I have lots of options from peer-reviewed journals that I can go through and look at. So I am going to choose this article, number 2, which is Viral Change, Trends in Michigan Teacher Attrition and Mobility Before and During the COVID-19 Pandemic. This is a policy brief. It is published by a specific institution called the National Center for Research on Education Access and Choice. So if I click on this, I'll get a bunch of information about this article. So I get the title, the author list, the source, is it peer-reviewed, yes or no, who the sponsoring agency is, an abstract that tells me what it's about, and just a ton of information that I can use in my research. To access the actual article, I'm going to click on this button that says Full Text from ERIC. This will take me to the article as it lives in the bigger database. So you can see here, this is the entire text of this. It gives me a little bit of an abstract. And if I want to download this article, if it's working for my research, I'll come over here to the right-hand side where there's a link that says download full text. If I click this, it will pull up a PDF copy of this article. And once it fully loads, I'll be able to download the PDF to my own laptop. We are just a little bit slow today. There we go. This is my entire article, the way it originally appeared. And to download it, I'll click the download button in this pane. Now let's go back. I'm going to close a couple of these windows and we will go back to our search results so that I can show you some other filters and some other tools. Now, to get to our complete list of filters, you'll want to click Advanced Search. What this does is opens up all of those buttons for the filter so that you can see the full list of filters that are available to you. So as I'm scrolling down through this list, you'll notice that I can add things like the publication date, which we put in. I can also add a specific journal title if I found one that's very relevant to my research. So maybe I find the Journal of Secondary School Teacher Psychology. That is unfortunately a made-up example, so you can't search by that one. But if there were a journal by that title, I could search for it specifically. It gives me the ability to put in a custom range for publication date. So if I want everything published in, say, the last 3 years, I can shorten that date range. It will let you choose if you want a journal article or an ERIC document. Now, an ERIC document, as I said, are those internal documents that are published by ERIC. Those can be extremely helpful if you're doing policy or legal research. Another filter that is incredibly useful for education research is this education level filter. If I click this, it will let me choose multiple ways to say the same thing. So if I'm looking for elementary education, if I hold down my control button on my keyboard, I can click elementary education. I can click grade 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. I can scroll down through all of the grades and click things like primary school so that I'm getting all of the different synonyms for the grade level that I'm looking for, and it will search all of these for me at once. I can also choose an intended audience. So if I want documents who are written specifically for policymakers, for example, or for parents, I can narrow it down to that. I can also narrow down by language and location identifiers and many, many other articles.